Oh, I'll call her when I get back in the house. And I get back in the house only to figure out that my front door is not all the way locked. Like, the bolt is not locked. And I'm like, I remember locking that bolt. Weird. Open the door, and my furniture has been rearranged. I mean, seriously rearranged. There are books out everywhere. I mean, it's like someone has come in and redecorated with the stuff that was already there. It's just weird. And I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? There was a beer in the fridge and my favorite flavor ice cream waiting for me with my name on it. I might add, cranberry ice cream.
And all your underwear was soiled.
All my underwear was soiled, and wait, that was
a different time.
It's like quantum mystery. And there was a $5 bill on the couch with a note on it that says, "We had fun, thanks." And I had no idea. And my first thought was, this is Brina. This has got to be Brina. So I called her up, and she's such a consummate actress, however, that after 2 minutes of talking with her on the phone, I was convinced she could not have done it. And so she let me believe that was somebody else for like 4 hours because she forgot to call me back and like break the news. She's like, oh, I totally meant to like just let him sweat it out for 30 minutes. And then I got to watching CSI or something. It was like, oh crap, I got to call Tatum and let him know that it was me that broke into his house. I called everyone I knew and bitched them out, trying to like find the person that done it. I actually called the police, and they came over, and it was funny. Like, you try telling the police, and they're like, I don't understand why you're so weird about someone coming into your house and just rearranging stuff. It's clearly a prank. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm kind of a big deal. This may be a crazy fan. They're like, fan of what? Don't ask! Just start arresting people! I think the Manson family's just creepy crawled my goddamn house. Do your job, sir! And then Brina calling me. Now, her version of the story is that she called me and said, hi, it was me, got you. That's not actually what happened. What happened was, she called me back 4 hours later. I was still just in a tizzy, having no clue who had done this, and hoping to God it wasn't some crazed fan that found out where I lived and thought, I'm going to sleep in Tatum's clothes. So she calls me back, and she's like, Tatum, I have a really weird question. I'm like, what? She's like, do they leave stuff in your fridge? And I'm like, yes, they left like Budweiser and some freaking ice cream. She's like, holy shit, I think they've gotten me too. And I'm like, oh my God! So in my mind, I'm like, someone has marked all of the Funimation voice actors for death. It's like a Sherlock Holmes story. And I'm like, oh my God, we have to call everybody. We have to figure out what's going on. Oh my God, I hate this. She's like, oh my God, dumbass, it was me. I love Brina. I never got her back. I don't know. It's Honduran.
Did she say
No, she got him out. The windows of my house were open, and I didn't know it. Like, they were unlocked because I had someone cleaning it the day before, and they had cleaned the windows and left them unlocked. And had Brina knocked, and she came over and knocked. Oh, this is Tatum's house, and she knocked, and she and Gino, her brother, noticed. I'm like, oh, the windows are unlocked. Well, we can't leave that. I mean, that's unsafe. And I thought, well, let's just go crawl in, lock the windows, and come out the front door. And thought, well, while we're here. But the thing is, like, when they were about to leave, because apparently Gino was freaking out, oh my God, the cops, someone's going to call the cops. Someone's like, because like the windows were on the front porch that she crawled in through, so everyone could have seen it. Thank you, neighborhood watch.
I know, right?
But she decided, like, while they were there, they were like, I kind of want to do more stuff. Let's go back and like, let's go get some ice cream and beer and like plant stuff. So they like spent a good hour just enjoying the hell out of themselves in my house, and it was worth $5 to them. She did let me keep the $5. By the way, that was very nice.
You know, it would have been funny if, like, when they start crawling through the window, if a cop car would have passed by, and they would have got, like, arrested because they're trying to break in the.
I love that you have your own story going on in your head right now. That is awesome. It's just like he sees
I would have loved that too.
Yeah.
Bring in to call me, be like, hey, can you bail us out of jail? Why? We were trying to break into your house. I'm like, why don't you just sit there for a day or two? I'll come get you on Wednesday. How's that?
Just in time for your next session.
I nerd out over all sorts of stuff. I am the biggest super nerd in the world about science. I nerd out about science, and I nerd out about literature, and cooking, and stuff. If I ever met Terry Pratchett, I went like that.
I nerd out over, like I said yesterday, when I got to work with Billy Hayes, who was Witchy Poo on HR Pub and stuff. I totally nerded out. I nerded out. I got to work with Eric Idle on the Angry Beavers. That was cool. What I'm really happy about is, like, I work with Fred Willard a lot. We do sketch comedy together, so we do a show a month over at Second City in Los Angeles. And it's every actor I grew up watching is part of our group, and it's weird because we hang out now, like Joanne Worley and Alan Thicke and Ted Lange and a bunch of people I grew up watching on TV. I did geek out one time. Don Adams from Get Smart. I met him, which is awesome. And I got to work with Carl Reiner in a movie called Summer School, and I like classic guys and classic comedians. That's my thing.
I met Paul Newman was in this bar that we were in one time, this like blues bar, and just like he's sitting right over there, and I'm like, that's Paul Newman. I gotta say something to Paul. I gotta talk to Paul. I gotta say something awesome. So I walk over and I was like, sir, in my head, sir, your work has inspired, like I'm trying to think of the right thing to say. And all I did, I got up to him and he looked at me with those eyes and I just went, you're Paul Newman! That's all I could get out of my, that's all I could say. And he just kind of looked at me and went, yeah, kid, I am. And that was it. And I walked away like a dork.
I nerd out over Doctor Who, that's one of the many. But I've had a chance to meet two actors that have worked on the new series. I've gotten to meet Alex Kingston, who plays River Song. That was my favorite story, and I've gotten to meet John Barrowman, who is amazing. And it was funny when I got to meet Alex Kingston because of you lovely people. I was at a convention where she happened to be, and it was her first convention, stateside, and it was a pop culture thing, and she was really cool. I had no idea how I really wanted to meet her, but I was very shy, and I didn't know how. And I would have gone up to her and been like, "You're River Song," and run away. And I didn't want that to happen, so I was just kind of trying to pick my moment. But she was so classy and so reserved, being very, very English, that I just didn't see the chance. And she was signing 2 tables away from me. So I'm signing autographs, and she's right over there, and I'm just kind of like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Well, my fans were coming through my line and having me sign stuff, and they're like, oh my God, that's Alex Kingston. And they're like, I know, right? And we're geeking out together. Well, they would then hop my line and go over to her line and tell her, oh my God, that guy over there is the biggest fan in the world of you. Get him to do his Sebastian voice for you. So later that night, at a gathering for all the the guests and the VIP attendees, she comes up to me out of the blue and goes, "Oh, so you're Michael? Okay, let's hear the voice." And I'm like, it was fantastic. And then we ended up I did a little bit for her. She was like, "Oh, that's great. You sound native, wonderful. You're going to sit with me." And I sat next to her and did dinner, and we had drinks together. We drank gin and tonics, and then. Nice. Gin and tonics, of course, and we got a bit schnockered, and then they started playing a rumba or something, and she wanted to dance with a bunch of us, so she grabbed me to pick me up. I'm like, oh no, darling, I don't dance. She's like, neither do I. I'm in heels. You have no argument, and I'm like, I guess I'm dancing with Alex Kingston now. So that was awesome, and I got to meet John Barrowman, and let me just say, Captain Jack is a tamer version of the real thing. Yeah, that was a nice meeting. He's a very, very pretty man. Very pretty man.
I just got to work with Christopher Lloyd. That was cool. I did an episode of Psych, and if anybody saw it, it was it was a big deal because basically it was their homage to the movie Clue, and they had the entire cast, and except, and I would have totally spazzed out, except Tim Curry, because I would have. But it was weird, going in. So I got brutally stabbed in the back by Chris Lloyd, Garrett Morris, and Martin Mull. All within the space of 45 minutes. And Chris is an intense dude, man. And well, this is it. I mean, here's when you start becoming a voice person, an impressionist. Here's the box of 20 impressions that you must do. So my career starts with, hello, Molly, sauce on smells. So, we're going in, and they come up and go, Scott, do not do Chris around Chris. So I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. It's like you're not allowed to Shatner around Shatner, and I worked with him. You can't do. So I go in, and I'm going, okay, this is really cool. And he's really intense, terrifyingly intense. And he's not like one of these guys that, he's in his trailer, at lunch, he's out there in the tent, but he just sits by himself and stares at things. So I came up day 2 of shooting, and I go down and I went, hi, Chris, I'm Scott. I better introduce myself before you have the, dubious pleasure of stabbing me brutally in the back with an ice pick. And I'm standing there, and he just kind of goes, well, isn't that nice? And I'm just like, whoa, wow. This is freaky.
That's awesome.
It's like, sound speed, and camera. And I'm just going, you cannot roll that camera fast enough because my head is going to explode. I'm scared. But it was cool for me because I'm going, I had a friend of mine, this is completely random now, a friend of mine that's a stand-up comic, a guy named Squatch. And when he was starting his career, he does Dave Squatch Ward. He does the best Dangerfield I've ever heard.
Everybody squat.
I'm telling you, like, it sucks getting old. The other day, everything's... Anyway, Fred Squatch does this great Dangerfield. So he's starting his stand-up career. He books his first big headlining act, as a Canadian comic. He's booked into Dangerfield's in New York City, right? Dangerfield's Comedy Club. He's like, oh my God. So Squatch is, he's been 45 minutes, or 40 minutes of his 45 minutes is his Dangerfield bit. So he's sitting in the green room. I have no idea why I'm telling this story. Waiting to go on, when he's like his headline and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, the door opens up. Dangerfield walks in. He goes, hey, kid, I hear you do me. Squatch goes, yeah, I do. He goes, well, don't. Walks out and introduces him. Right, no act. Squatch is like, my whole act just walked out the window. I have no idea why I told you that, but I feel like a cleaner person for having told you. What time was Oh, we're not going anywhere. You're all upside down.
I think we've gone too long.
I think we've gone over.
That's what she said.
Yeah, everyone, we have to wrap it up. I have an autograph signing session here in about 30 minutes or so, right at 11:30 to 12:30. That's been moved because I have a plane to catch, and many of us have planes to catch as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit here and stare at you.
He's going to sit here and eat. Thank you for coming. You have a good sports.